Oh, that'd be a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Changing it up a little bit with my live stream. One of the things that I have at least benefited with having a little bit extra time on my hands, a little bit of extra time. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I have been able to at least kind of work on my studio. You can see a little bit of the background, at least my green screen that I work on. And those are some of the things that I am getting used to. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. This is week number 4 for my office hours, and just doing this live stream, guys, basically to join in with you guys as you're doing your distance learning, and really to kind of be there as a support system to really kind of answer your questions, help you guys out with where you're at, because it's a really odd place that a lot of us are at trying to figure things out. And even as a teacher, I sent out an email to everybody this week on my email list. And one of the things that I kind of caught me off guard was, how unprepared I was thinking. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be ready. Like, I kind of have everything figured out, or at least a lot of people also thought I was going to have things figured out. But, I think the whole idea of like getting a lot of these videos and getting your structure and your pacing and everything has been a really big challenge. And a lot of things that I've been wanting to do or thinking I was going to do has not really turned out. Like I've changed my, originally I was going live for these open office hours. I'm like, I'll go live every night. Like that sounds great. And then I started teaching and I'm like, that is completely exhausting, because online teaching is almost as exhausting as going inside of the classroom. So then I'm like, all right, well, I'll do this, Wednesday, and I'll teach my kids. I'll go live, with my students, and we'll kind of go the notes. And then I'm like, that's a lot of going over instruction. Not only am I recording my lessons, but the nice thing about when I was inside the classroom, I didn't really think about teaching. I was interacting with the students. I was making, the lessons were a little bit different. Yeah, you're teaching, but it was also kind of more like, you just kind of get to play off them. But when you're in front of a screen all day, every day, and that's the way you're teaching, it gets very redundant and very kind of old fast. So that was some of the things that I'd really just kind of, started looking back into things, and why I wanted to name this the title of this live stream, like, what is the purpose of my channel? Because to be honest with you, there's some things that really have come up with my channel, or at least, I've had some time to look back into the comments and, really just kind of see like where I wanted to take this channel and some things that I've wanted to do. Now, obviously, if you go back and look at my old videos, and it's embarrassing to say that because I'll say don't do it, but then of course, all you have to do is go back and look at my older videos. They're extremely embarrassing. But the original purpose and idea of the channel, which is pretty obvious. I don't think it's like it's a question like, to help people, with their math. Really it was just to help my own students with their math and kind of stuff like that. As I would teach, as they had questions and homework, I would just hit play. And that's the way that, things always kind of got started. And that's what I've been doing for, since 2010. So 10 years now, basically been kind of following that format, and it's been great. I've done everything from Algebra 1 all the way up to Calculus, where basically when students ask questions or I have problems to teach, I've gone and recorded myself. And my goal has always been to create videos that have been short, to the point, and kind of address the topic. But I think one of the things that I have also found, or at least that distance learning has, allowed, is there's a little bit of a lack of disconnect in my videos, where as far as students needing that kind of idea of how to really understand the content, from kind of like A to Z format. How do I really understand the, concept that I'm supposed to be learning, and then also understand how to do these certain problems. So those are some things that I've been looking into, what I want to do with my, channel. Up to this point, the purpose has really just been like, let me show you how to do some math problems. And, even my open Q&A on Sunday nights, like, hey, I'm just going to show you how to do some math problems. But some of the things that I want to bring into the, purpose of my channel that's really not as prevalent in this time is really, if you look at my channel trailer, I don't have everything fixed out. I do have some cool things that I was just like playing around. Like, we can change this up. You guys, maybe we can't. I still got to go and get, see, there you go. You guys can see, I can switch it up for you guys. I know it kind of looks a little weird. I'm sure you guys are probably maybe a little bit more used to this. I'll be more happy. but yeah, so, I can change things up a little bit now. Some things I've just been playing around with. And, but a couple of the things that, that I've been trying to do, or at least this year, some of you guys might have seen these videos, where I'm kind of working through my lessons. But it's they're not videos, or at least the purpose of them is not to be able to help each and every other student no matter what they're trying to learn. So some of the things that I've really wanted to change as far as getting into the purpose of my channel has really been able to not only develop mathematical thinkers, but also to keep students curious. And that's what I was kind of mentioning right before I changed things up is I want students to be able to be curious and to continue wanting to learn math. I got a comment on, and I probably have tons of these. I haven't been able to respond to my comments in a while now, but one of the comments is kind of like, oh, hey, I haven't never used this in my life, and and stuff like that. And of course we can get into like the why do you have to learn math and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, one of the things that I think that still kind of pains me is so many people have such a sour taste of mathematics. And there's so many cool things that, so there's so many already great channels that really kind of explore that creativity and like the advancements of mathematics. But one of the things that I really wanted to kind of bring to a purpose of mathematics is, trying to make things not only, easy and more simple for students to understand, but really trying to, connect the ideas. And some of the point up to this point, my purpose of the channel has really been to help you solve your math problems. But some of the things that I'm going to be changing is really to be kind of doing a little bit more of that teacher approach. When I create a lesson, it's basically to take you, from one point at the beginning of the lesson to get you kind of hooked, and then to kind of take you through a transformation at the end. And a lot of the lessons that I'm creating right now, at least that you see on my live stream, they do that in one respect, but they're really just kind of really there for students that miss a class, so they have the foundation of the problems that they need. But it's nothing that, but it's not really a perfect lesson the way that I'd like to be able to have it. So I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of heads up on that. If there is something, I believe, I have to go and check in, but I believe on my, if you guys are interested as far as some of the content that I am coming out with, change off that. Then yeah, I do kind of send out some emails. One of the things that I've been trying to be consistent after I've kind of got thrown, knocked off the horse, as you can say, with doing, with this distance learning. But yeah, I do send out, some emails to kind of keep up with students and kind of give them my ideas on the educational purpose. And then, obviously some other things that I'm working on for this week is getting just the content, getting ready. So I've had basically up to this point, I've had all of my work already completed for my students, as far as my videos go. But now I'm at the point where now I have to start creating. I've already created the notes, but now I got to actually start creating the videos. So my time has now got very, very busy. And that's where I was kind of pointing to at the end is, yeah, like time is getting busy now. Now I'm like, it's very difficult for me to be going live with my students every single class period, doing teaching, creating video, making the notes, making the answer keys, and then also trying to get my kids to go to bed when we put them down at 7:30, and they still are not in bed at 9:15. So dealing with that as well. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I did want to check in with you guys and see. I see Addie, you're here. Atlas, thank you for jumping in. Justin, Barry, Brick, I didn't get to see any of your guys' comments, so let's just go ahead and read. Want the thing. I like the examples you post on. Go over. Is polar graphs. What are there? Yeah, I used to teach as far as a lot of the, with the polar graphs, especially to prepare the students for calculus. But it's just not one of those things that, like, when I'm dealing with my pre-calculus students is, having understanding the graph. And actually, technically, it's probably something that if I had more time now, I'd actually spend that in my online curriculum. The reason why, oops. Oh, okay. Well, let me put that. So the reason why I haven't really talked in as much in the polar graphs, because basically when you get into that with the calculus, it kind of just runs with the, runs with the curriculum. So like it's very easy to be able to transition students from the, polar equations and to also understanding like their graphs. Whereas for the pre-calculus students, we have so much content that they are like trying to understand in that chapter. And then also we're at the end of the year, we have pacing, we have their test, and it's like everything's at a rush. And I just saw a lot of students that were really, really struggling with kind of maintaining a lot of that. And then also half of my students aren't even going into, calculus or ever going to see polar equations ever again. And it is something that I'd want to teach so they can understand as far as if we had that time to kind of slow down, which now we do. Unfortunately, we already passed that topic. So that is something though that I would be interested in looking into bringing back in. Small way of thinking, how we're doing well as students. You aren't in your classes. You're appreciated. Well, thank you very much. You're very welcome, Ashlyn and Matthew. How are you? Cloud, I'd be more than happy to try to do some math problems. This isn't my math live stream, but I will kind of cover. I did, create a nice little whiteboard. I'm not sure about being so close, my face so close to you guys, but it's a couple things I am looking forward to, kind of moving my stuff around, as well as it's a bedroom, but I'll just call it a studio because it sounds correct. But yeah, as far as moving some furniture around and kind of getting this really set up. At this point, I basically just have all of my notes and all that kind of stuff like that I bring home, that I brought home from school. So everything is like scattered around. And I just kind of have this nice little aisleway that I can walk in right in front of my green screen and get going. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, I'm not sure why I was doing a live stream before, Addie. I'm not sure. I'm assuming as long as everything is not restricted. I did a live stream earlier before and it was like had a restricted chat. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, if you guys do have some questions, feel free to add them into the chat. I'll kind of see how long I go. Really, I just want to kind of be here as far as you guys, seeing anything that I can do really just in general from the math related. And obviously, I know a lot of you guys are used to me like being inside the classroom. And it's actually kind of funny. I didn't even think about that. But, you guys are used to, a lot watching my videos mostly inside the classroom, I guess. And then obviously on the Q&A, I always do the Q&A, I'm always answering questions and, kind of stuff like that. So I don't really get that interaction with you guys. So that's why I just want to kind of take a little time just to, chat in if you guys do have any questions or anything else that you guys are working on. I'm always interested to see what other teachers are doing. If any teachers in there or parents, or just even what your classes are doing, like for your math stream. Like, are you guys, at this point, I'm basically teaching kind of like how I do my videos. You guys have hopefully maybe seen some of my videos I do like this. And I go ahead and we'll interact with the students and we'll basically be able to teach, from that point. But I think I did when my last poll that I did with you guys, they had, I think the last poll that I went with you guys, the majority of students were just getting work. Like, no teacher was really teaching. It was basically like work, like, hey, here's maybe like some lecture videos or something. And then you're kind of, left to like figure things out. So I wonder if that's kind of changed. I mean, that was really early on, maybe like only a week or two in. And now technically we're in week 6. We've actually been off, or we're actually in week 4, but we've been technically off for 6 weeks. That was how long it's been since we've been back in school. So I think maybe like week 2, I kind of like mentioned that out to kind of see what you guys have been doing. So, but yeah, if you guys do have some math questions, I'm here for you guys to answer your questions, see how it is. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. There's that one. And then I have another camera over here, but that one's not on. I didn't turn that one. Well, it's on, but I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. So, but the reason why I wanted to get into a lot of the stuff is like, so like people are like, oh, like how would you do, let me actually see if I can do that. Students are always like, oh, well, why can't you, oh, I got an idea. Want to do that? Like what videos, can I watch? Like, hey, I'm teaching, quadratics or whatever else. And like, I've made some like I've made some like online courses, for students, or like on websites like Udemy, and like, so I have courses that, I sell, like that have quizzes and notes. I don't really push them a lot on this channel. Obviously I also have my membership, as well, if you want access to some of the additional live streams that I do for my students, as well as additional videos and the answer keys to some of the worksheets that I make my problems on. So those are some of the things that I offer inside of my membership website, or the membership on YouTube. But, one of the things that I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, so a lot of students are like, oh, what videos should I watch? Like I'm in Algebra 2, or I'm in Calculus, or like, what do I need to watch? And I'm like, I don't have a lot of my videos. The purpose of my channel up to this point has really been like, let me show you how to do as many math problems as I can possibly do. And, up to this point, I have over 11,000 math videos that you can go ahead and watch. So it's a lot, right? And I understand that. But one of the things that, let's see, there you go. But actually, let me see. No, I won't go with that. Hey, we'll go out there. I popped it up there. So one of the things I wanted to show you guys was I was, as I was looking into the channel. So I was looking at my channel and I was like, man, one of the things, one comment about like, hey, I've never used this before, but of course you're still teaching it. Like, why are you teaching that? And, that kind of brought into that purpose of my channel. Like, yeah, my point is not to just, yes, up to this point, I just wanted to help people with their math problems. But also, the purpose is I want to serve a bigger purpose, to be able to help people learn and understand math and enjoy mathematics and be curious about mathematics. And not just doing math problems is always going to, serve that purpose. So those are some things that I wanted to change, that I will kind of continue be doing for, I have about 100, I have a whole bunch of classroom videos that I'm going to be releasing though, basically till the end of the year. So if you guys haven't noticed, I've kind of picked up my uploads a lot. And that's one of the things I've been kind of serving out there, is a lot of classroom videos. And which I'm going to continue doing, because it is actually kind of fun to go back earlier this year and look at what we were teaching, like we were inside the classroom. But if you are in a certain class, I did want to let you guys know, I did want to show you the playlist section of my tab. So if you guys have this playlist, if you basically are just on my channel and you go to the playlist section, basically you guys can see, like, I have everything that I've taught inside the classroom, from calculus, pre-calculus, algebra 2 or college algebra, geometry, algebra 1, pre-algebra. Master playlist just kind of covers a lot of the content, just kind of random content. But a lot of students, if you guys can see, just in like fractions alone, I have, 57 videos in one playlist, or simplify expressions, 124 examples. So, a lot of times people always, ask like, oh, where's this video or whatever else? Like, everything is organized in these, playlists. So you can see I have 160 videos on writing linear equations, which is kind of crazy because obviously nobody watches 160 problems on linear equations. But maybe if you understand how to do one, but you don't understand how to do another one, I don't really know. But, that's just kind of like my life's work, basically, I guess I could say, up to this point. And so I just wanted to kind of remind you guys of that, because I know a lot of you guys are like, you've come to my channel to be in different classes, college, high school, middle school. And a lot of times you're kind of looking, for where my content is, or what is a problem maybe that I've solved that is going to help you, that's very similar to what you're looking for. I obviously do not have everything, but I do have a lot. So that's what I always recommend, looking at those playlists for you guys to kind of see if that is going to be something that will, that could help you out. All right. So let's go and let's change it up. I got to work on a couple different things. Whoa, it's so weird. But yeah, let's just go and check in. Pre-algebra in 8th grade. I cannot say your name. I feel like the beginning of the year. Mademoiselle Ria. Ria Ashlyn, your trig identities playlist has saved me. That's awesome. Trig identities stink. They take forever to like get good at and get like used to. So I totally understand. See if down in geometry. Well, yeah, I got tons of geometry. It's been a while though. It's just my geometry, days, but they're definitely still out there, and hopefully a lot of those videos, help out. Brian, you should try out OutSchool. I will definitely go ahead and give it a shot. I'm not sure about what OutSchool is. That's not something I have. But hey, Sheen, yeah, I thought, it was so funny. I saw like Keto for Life and I was like, man, that sounds familiar. I don't know your name, but yes. Sheen, it's good to see you here, man. Very, very good to see you. Pedro, you're very welcome. Samir, good to see you. Chavez, that's saved me from failing 10th grade math. Awesome. Well, geez, guys, I'm so glad that a lot of my videos, and that's the kind of thing, like, when I started creating videos, or at least recording my videos, a lot of times my, maybe an explanation might not be perfect, or maybe I'll make like a minor mistake, or sometimes even make a major mistake. And which I'm not a proponent of making major mistakes, or if I explain something incorrectly, I want to make sure I get those addressed. And I have not caught all of my videos. Anytime that I do say something, or like even I confuse my words or whatever else, I always try to correct it, and I do want to correct it. But there are a lot of times there'll be a mental mistake out there. But yeah, I think it's always important for students to, learn from it. But, my original purpose was always just like, well, if anybody can take something from the video, that's going to make me, happy. If they can learn the concept, from that. I mean, nobody wants mistakes. And obviously being very precise is very important branch of mathematics. But also I think just the general understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing, and how to do it is very important. And, if a video I can have that maybe might not be great, or the audio is bad, or all these other things that basically have made up my videos throughout the years, but if they can be able to help you and have served you, that's what makes me, excited, or at least up to the points of the videos that I've created for this. All right. My class is graphing rational functions. My teacher uses Delta Math. So I've been coming here when I'm confused. Yeah, I haven't looked at, we don't use Delta Math in my school, but I know based on a lot of the communities that I'm like a part of, a lot of people are using Delta Math. And obviously I use, when I was teaching algebra 2 and calculus, we used a lot of Khan Academy too. And I know a lot of you guys use Khan Academy as well. So that is, those are definitely some good resources, but also like, there's nothing that's like, yeah, it's, there's never always like, sometimes just the way that somebody will explain something is where it clicks. And I'm not saying like my way is the way, like the right way or the best way. Absolutely not. But sometimes just hearing somebody else say it from a different perspective is just what your brain needs. Right? It's like when you're always thinking like, oh, this is the way things are going to be. And then your brain just gets in that mindset. Like, that's the way I'm going to think. And you don't allow yourself to be open to different pieces of understanding. But yeah, that's like that idea of allowing somebody else to explain it to you. And you're like, oh, now that actually makes sense, Yeah. And exactly. Math gives you power. Like, I love listening to, other teachers just explain something, because even just hearing, I'll watch a lot of like math tutorials on YouTube, just kind of seeing how they're explaining it, how they perceive the problem. Because, especially when you've been a teacher for a long time, you've been doing problems long enough. And yeah, I've completely changed the way that I explain a lot of what I explain from 2010, 2011, 2012. It's like you develop your teaching skills throughout the years, right? And obviously you keep on improving, keep on refining. But, there's absolutely, it's cliche, but it's so true. Like every year you teach, the more you teach, like the more you learn, you keep on making these connections. And that's the wonderful, beautiful thing about the brain. And I also think about mathematics, this endless web of connections and ideas that is just, it's amazing to be able to keep on teaching the same thing, right? And I keep on learning more and more and getting more and more enthused about what I'm teaching and how I'm teaching it. And that's also what kind of brings me a little bit to that purpose too, is like, I want to keep on, going. Like I want to keep on learning, keep on expanding my knowledge. And I think that is one of the things that I can express to you guys, to keep on wanting to do that as well. Like, because math should not be about, and that's another thing that I really love about this, a lot of you guys having your test canceled, is because that really takes away a lot of what you guys have been learning math for, right? I mean, let's be a little bit honest here. I know many students. Well, thank you, Keto Life. Thank you I appreciate that, Sheen. It's really good to see you again. And thank you for joining up and for your support. But the point that I think a lot of students, when they come into the math class, is like, yeah, they're concerned about, their A, their B, and like, what's that going to do for them? What college is that going to take them into? But they don't really care about as much about the knowledge. I mean, most students, or maybe a good chunk of students, they're not curious, and it's not their fault. It's just the way that mathematics has been taught for so many years. Basically, a little bit of that, carrot, carrot on the stick kind of idea. That like, hey, you're just going to do this, you'll get the grade, and then you kind of move on to the next element. Move on to the next level, right? But now we kind of take away that little carrot, and that way, if you're like, all right, well, now you're not learning to take the test is gone. Like you're not getting assessed, so why are you learning this stuff? Why is it important for you to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it? And yeah, the truth is, a lot of the mathematics we probably don't need to be teaching at this moment in time anymore, right? A lot of people are like, oh, why do we have to learn this? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Majority of you don't really need to be learning this. But a lot of the stuff that I think is still beneficial, that still kind of falls within that area, it's like, why are we learning this? Also kind of falls into like, why are we teaching it this way? Like, why are we teaching it for basically just to teach, so students understand how to do it so they can just do it on the test? Like there's so much of better an application and understanding of this material. And for the pure idea of just being curious, of having a better understanding of how things work. And then also just that relationships, and the patterns, and like what mathematics is all about and supposed to be. And there's a lot of those things that, I constantly am thinking about, as a teacher. I'm stuck in that same kind of rut a little bit. Like I have to teach, like the purpose of me teaching is so that students will pass a test, right? And then they'll be like, all right, you are a good teacher because students are passing a test and they're going on to college and yada, yada, yada. But, the one thing about the distance learning is you take that away. And it's like, obviously I think my students are still going to take a test. And if not, I still am going to be giving them a test. But my point that I was trying to make was that, you kind of take that away, and it's like you strip away that the end of the year test and like the grade, and like the idea of like your success is based on how you're going to be doing in this class, or, how you do on this particular test, or any, whatever your grade is that's your success. You take that away. And I think it really kind of exposes like, our educational system a little bit. It's like, yeah, why are we teaching? How are we preparing, people to leave the classroom? Like, what are students getting out of my pre-calculus class? And, I don't want to continue, teaching where students just leave my class being like, I didn't really learn anything, but I got a good grade. Right. And it's happened. And, I try to incorporate in my classroom the best for students to be curious and to be engaged and to, want to understand more and more and more. But it also becomes, difficult too, that students have to learn certain topics on certain, I can't really deviate from my instruction, or from the course curriculum. This is curriculum that is designed for students to pass the certain test, even if I agree that it is, the right thing students should be learning or not. So yeah, a lot of thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, just keep on going through. My brain, as far as, what is the purpose of getting students to be able to, do that virtual hug. I like that, man. Whenever there's always people that, I learn from online, and not just in math, but, in anything. And, from there, and I remember it's just like, my favorite thing is, once you see somebody from like that you watch online, it's like, man, I just want to give you like, a hug, a handshake, like just to, just that kind of thank you. That's kind of that in-person kind of connection. But I appreciate that. Yeah, math should be absolutely fully embraced. I definitely agree. Greetings, Mr. Teacher. Well, VS Gamer, thank you for joining up. Yeah, so I'll be answering questions. Well, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I haven't seen any questions yet like that, at least as far as math. I can't go crazy. I can't go crazy with a lot of the questions. But if you guys do have a little bit of a math problem, then I will be more than happy. I guess I should probably look over here. So I got to get my hotkeys. So I had like my hotkeys that was never working correctly for me for the longest time. And then I finally got that to work because I was like, oh, now I have time to like, sit here a little bit between my classes and like focus on like getting this fixed. So I got that fixed, but now I got to like reset everything. So therefore, at least I won't need to be doing like my double click and get everything over there. Like the factoring part. I can't remember what you meant with the factoring part. I think were you talking about the rational expressions? I can't remember. Was that a question that was up there? I know there's something. I hope it's not completing the square or factoring. It's so funny for like all my open Q&As. I think like for the last week or probably like for the last like 5 weeks, I think that a lot of questions have always been like either completing the square, usually something on factoring or like graphing. So there's a lot of common, themes and elements. And, a lot of my videos, like, for instance, my videos I have. So the problem, with the way my channel is set up is like, graphing. I don't know how many graphing problems I have for like sine or cosine. I probably have like 40 or 50 examples, right? So yeah, you can, and some of those examples are really, really good. I do a really good job explaining. Maybe some of them, like, I don't know, it was a bad class, bad day. Maybe I don't do a good job explaining them. But again, who really has time or who really wants to or who is going to, watch 40, right? Kind of math problems. Not really anybody. It just takes too long and it's too much repetition. But, that's just kind of the way that my channel has been up to this point. So so one of the things I want to do is kind of take like that completing the square or whatever else and actually do not a full lesson like I'm doing in my classes like these. Like these lessons are really giving my students basically like, hey guys, this is what we did in class. Like I create these notes like, and the thing is like, these take forever to record and do, but like to give you guys an idea, I just want to show you like, so this is something that I will be, that I like present or I kind of go over, with my students, but you can see like, these are a lot of problems, like a lot of notes and everything like that. But when I'm teaching inside the classroom, like I use this, we don't teach everything. A lot of these problems, students are actually doing on their own. So I'm not actually teaching all through them, but when I'm recording a lesson, well, I don't have any students to be doing this work, in groups or on the board or stuff. So it's just me showing how to do each and every one of these examples. And it takes a lot. Like it takes a long time, obviously, to, kind of go through one of those lessons. But if you want a full lesson or you need a full lesson, that's great, right? That's a great idea to learn from. But majority of students don't really need, or don't really need to watch something. You always want how to learn something as soon or as quick and as fast as possible with as being adept and clear as you can be. And that's just something videos that I have not really made because I haven't really needed to, right? Ashley, you post one on Discord? Awesome. Hold on. All right. I haven't seen, guys, a lot of you join on the Discord. I believe that should be on my description unless I have made I'm pretty sure that's on the description for this live stream. But yeah, if you guys are interested in submitting your questions, so I will be live next Sunday at 9 p.m. where you guys can submit your questions ahead of time. I will make a community post on Saturday. You guys can go ahead and reply to that community post. Or if you guys would like to join on Discord, besides having some random people that join in and want to spam, and then we need to boot them from Discord, so far it's been a pretty good experience from my end and from what I've seen other people's end, where students are really able to help each other out, ask questions, post pictures of what they're working on, and really get help. And I've seen some really good results on Discord so far. So I really do thank you guys for joining in and also helping each other out with that. Like, I think that's really great. Ashley, I see. You give me it. Oh, that's a big one. I want to do a double angle formula. How do I write this expression as a single trig function? So I would need to, I'll get to you on Discord from there. I'm not going to cover in the live stream just because it's not a problem that I cover a lot. So I don't want to go through like the thinking process of this, at least on the live stream, because then I'll be like, oh, now I'm thinking through it. And then I got people in the live stream, but I will respond to you on Discord from on there, because it does seem simple, at least enough. I just need to kind of work through a couple things for you, but thank you for posting on Discord, and I will get you back on there. There's the wrong thing I was looking for. All right. Well, hey, Bill Gates, do my math homework. All right, cool. Sure thing. Man, the person went so far as actually getting a picture of Bill Gates and getting the math homework. That's awesome. Sweet. Love it. Well, thank you, Mary Nicholson. I'm very, very happy you enjoy my channel. Wow, I'm really close. I don't like being like that. That's too close. There we go. That makes me feel a little bit easier here. All right, Vicky Morris, I have a question about rational exponents. Well, let's bring the questions, guys. I'm not sure how many I can get through. Actually, I know I can't get through many, but I will. I'll try to do my best. So Mr. McLogan has great videos. Yeah, I have a ton of videos on quadratic formula. Oh man, jeez. Okay, so we have how to use the quadratic equation in fractional equations. Well, we're going to use the quadratic formula to find the roots of the quadratic. So you can use it if you wanted to find like the factors, find the roots first. But it's typically just not often used with fractions, rational expressions. It could be if you needed to, but not really something that I see very often for you that you'd want to be able to use. In these lonely times. Well, I'm very, very happy in these lonely times that the channel is helping you out. But yeah, math questions, then the link is left. I think it's in my description. I don't know. I can't remember. Ooh, can insert a. Oh, no. I guess I won't check my description while I'm going live. Oh yeah, there it is. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, it's in the math questions right in there, right in the chat. So if you guys ever want to go to Discord, I'm not going to get into the Discord or further questions at this point, guys. But I will try to see if then in Algebra 2, Ryan, good, very good. And taking pre-calc now, awesome. Keep it going. Keep on practicing those skills. Actually, let's see. No, okay, that's working out good. Okay, sweet. Well, Mac Vanille, that's very, very happy to be able to help you out. I appreciate your support. Awesome to hear from you. Can you explain what a factor means in a partial fraction? No, because what partial fraction is something we've it's as far as a factor, I'm not sure if what it separate means, but as far as the partial fractions, that's the same thing. That's not something we used to teach it way back in the day when I first started teaching pre-calculus, but and I never even had to cover it for at least my calculus AB curriculum. So I'm not sure exactly the best way I'd be able to approach at least the explanation for you from on there. So I apologize for that, but that would be not something at least or to cover, not something that I've covered recently enough where I give an explanation on the live stream. Same thing, Vina, with the interval of convergence. not something I've covered in any kind of recent time where I'm going to want to try to work on any kind of explanation for you on that. Could I go over the properties of rational exponents? I'm confused why I put 1 on the top of a fraction to get rid of a negative exponent. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just kind of see here. Well, I'm very happy to help you out, G. G South. And Ian, I could use radians and find the amplitude period of each function. Can you, using radians, find the amplitude and period of each function? Using radians. I do not know those two methods or formulas, Sergey, so I apologize. That's not something I am familiar with, at least recently from what I've been teaching with the Algebra 1 through calculus at the high school level. So I apologize. It's not something I'll be able to cover for you. But I kind of want to get in, what about graphing transformations? Yeah, there you. I'm just trying to think of what else I want to end with you guys. Why I put a 1 on the top of a fraction? I'm just trying to get rid of a negative exponent. I mean, you're not getting rid of a negative exponent. I'm trying to see. The only thing I guess I'll end off with is actually I don't know. If you guys have your questions, go ahead and feel. I'm just gonna finish it off with this, just because it's been a long day, long week from that side. So guys, if you do have questions, go ahead and put them in Discord. I will make sure that I can respond. I do have all of the Discord broken down into at least the courses that I have. And if you have another course that maybe you'd like to add that doesn't really fit into what I have, go ahead and put it up there. I will make sure I respond to you guys. For his questions, I cannot guarantee that I can answer all of your questions. Of course I cannot, but I will try to do my best to answer your questions. But if you do want me to go over problems, just for the sake of time, I'm going to hold those off, guys, to my open Q&A, which will be this Sunday at 9 p.m. So I'm going to end off the live stream, guys, because I do have school tomorrow that I have to go and prepare for and get myself ready. So thank you guys so much for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, as well as on my open Q&A for Sunday. All right. Cheers. Night, guys.